Meister Eckhart, writing in the 13th century, once wrote, "If the one prayer you utter in your life is thank you, it's more than enough." So as our annual celebration of Thanksgiving approaches, and as we finish up this series of videos on praying the collects, it seems fitting and a right and good thing to end our series with a prayer of thanksgiving. The general thanksgiving was not in the original prayer book. It actually came a bit later, and it was a response to the critique of others, including the Puritans, who said that there were not enough prayers of thanksgiving in the prayer book. So in 1662, the general thanksgiving was added, and it's been a part of every prayer book ever since. Some attribute it to Queen Elizabeth herself, and it's a beautifully crafted prayer, and one that has been very meaningful to me in the last few years, especially the lines where it says, "And we thank you for Jesus Christ, for the means of grace and for the hope of glory." And that one phrase has become essential to my own understanding of Jesus' ministry and mission and message, for the means of grace and for the hope of glory. I want to close with a story. This happened several years ago now. I was putting my daughter Hannah to bed, and we were saying our prayers, and suddenly she interrupted our conversation by saying, "Dad, why do you believe in God?" And in that moment, I was caught up by this simple question. 3 years of seminary had not prepared me for this moment, and I was speechless. And the longer I was speechless, the more she stared at me, and she asked me again. And then she crossed her arms, so I knew that I was not going to get out of this. And as I thought about it, it was not a time to quote theology. It was not a time to open up the Bible. It was simply a time that she wanted honesty. She wanted me. She wanted my own confession. And suddenly an answer came from deep within my soul, and this is what I said to her. I said, "Hannah, I believe in God because there are moments in my life when the only words I can utter are thank you. Sometimes it happens when I see a beautiful sunset out over the Gulf or stare up into a starry sky. Sometimes it's when somebody tells me a story that I can only call a miracle, and also there was the moment when I first held you when you were born. These are moments that take me to the core of my own soul, and the only words that I can say are thank you. And so when I look at this world, when I look at my life, when I look at you, Hannah, and all I can say is thank you. You see, when I say thank you, I know that I am believing in something more than myself. When I say thank you, I know that I believe in God." She looked at me and she said, "I love you, Dad," rolled over and went to bed. It was a pretty simplistic answer. It was not very sophisticated, not very theological, maybe even not very orthodox. But for Hannah and for me in that moment, it was enough. It was more than enough. So as this new season of holiday and Thanksgiving approaches us, as the series ends, we can look at the world and all that's happening, and we can look at it in despair and in sadness. But I want to urge you onward. I want you to keep awake. I want you to keep watching. And I want to urge you to look for those moments in your life that all you say is thank you. Because when you say thank you, it is enough. It's more than enough. God bless you.